Joining us now is trial attorney Brian Claypool to continue our conversation. So, Brian, thank you for hopping on with us for this breaking news. What power will David Weiss, special counsel, have that David Weiss, the attorney, did not? Let's just start there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, hey, Kelly, nice to be back with you. Well, isn't that the million-dollar question? I mean, two thoughts come to mind when I hear about this all of a sudden special counsel appointment. The first thought I have is, if you watch track and field, a false start. What I mean by that, is this just a false start in a 100-yard dash? Is Merrick Garland just doing this to pander to all the negative publicity that came out of that Hunter Biden plea deal that fell apart? So that's the big question. Is Merrick Garland's heart in the right place? Or is this a false start? Is he going to give Weiss the power that he needs to issue subpoenas, to enforce subpoenas, to execute search warrants, to interview witnesses that have all been out there for the last 5 years? What's staggering to me, Kelly, is this investigation's been going on for several years. Why is it now all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to appoint a special counsel? That's the first thought. Second thought is actions speak louder than words. Let's see how much power Merrick Garland gives Weiss. Is Weiss going to be able to look into possible extortion with that WhatsApp text that Hunter Biden did to the CEFC company in China? And also, is Garland going to let Weiss go out and look at Hunter Biden's laptop and study that? Is Garland going to let Weiss, for example, interview witnesses that were identified by an IRS whistleblower? Remember that a few months ago? That was tossed in the trash can. Nobody looked into that. Is Weiss going to be able to look into that? So that's the million-dollar question.
Right. And Brian, is the DOJ trying to keep this out of the House Oversight Committee and the Republicans' hands, in your view?
That's actually a great question, because maybe this could be like a chess match where Garland now is saying, oh, look, oh, my gosh, I'm not liking what I'm seeing with what the House Oversight Committee is doing with subpoenas they're going to issue, with testimony they're going to get, and with testimony that they're going to disseminate then to the public. Now, with appointing Weiss, his investigation now becomes private, because if it becomes part of a grand jury investigation, then all that's going to become private, and then the public's not going to find out about it. So that's an excellent question. And another point I wanted to make is I think Republicans are making a mistake by they're trying to attack Weiss. Why are they not attacking Merrick Garland? Remember, Weiss, in this initial plea deal with Hunter Biden, he said that he wanted more authority to go out and investigate some of these other items that we've talked about, the laptop, the search warrant of Hunter Biden's residence. It's not Weiss's fault. It's Merrick Garland's fault, who was going to gut all of Weiss's power and then try to cop this unconstitutional plea deal. So I think Republicans need to focus on Garland. Is this really a true special investigation with integrity, or is this just a veneer to deflect all of the negative PR that Garland's gotten and the DOJ's gotten for having a dual standard of justice?
And to your point, Brian, what were Hunter Biden's lawyers hoping that plea deal that fell apart would end, that now seems to be continuing here?
Yeah, Kelly, I've been thinking about this. I think Hunter Biden's lawyers are in a heap of trouble. What do I mean by that? Is they have to be looking out for Hunter Biden's best interest. And Kelly, you and I and your viewers know that when there's a high-profile criminal case, most criminal defendants listen to their lawyers. Ethically, we're supposed to instruct our clients on what we believe is the best course of action. At the end of the day, the client makes the decision, but the client always listens to the lawyers. Here, Biden's lawyers tried to throw in language to stop any further investigations, which is ridiculous. And that's important because it now has exposed Hunter Biden to maybe having to go to trial on this gun charge. Let's talk about that real quick. That has a potential prison sentence of 10 years, that alone. So why did Biden's lawyers compromise Hunter Biden by trying to cop this plea deal that now exposes Hunter Biden, if he goes to trial just on that one charge, to actual jail time?
Well, that's an excellent point, Brian. And Marnie was reporting a little bit earlier on the messaging that's been coming from the White House. Basically, the president standing by his son, saying that he loves him and ending the conversation there. Do you think the Biden administration or the president will have to respond further in the days ahead after this breaking news?
Yes. If I was advising President Biden, I would tell him to say the following. Look, I love my son. I don't think he's done anything wrong. But guess what? We welcome an investigation. We're fine with the DOJ looking into the facts because we trust that the facts in this case will not implicate my son Hunter and will not implicate me. Because Joe Biden has heard for years now about two tiers of justice, right? One for the Democrat, high profile Democrats in the Biden family, and one for, plummeting President Trump. So this is an opportunity for President Biden to step up and kind of quell this dual tiers of justice and say, hey, look, okay, let's have an investigation. Let's let Weiss and the DOJ do a legitimate investigation. And I'm confident you're not going to find anything that's going to implicate us. But I got to tell you, though, Kelly, that said, though, this is dangerous territory potentially for President Biden, because as Leland or Blake reported, if it's true that there was almost $20 million that were sent from either Burisma, CEFC, the Chinese energy company, and other companies to Hunter Biden, rest assured that Weiss is going to do subpoenas of every bank conceivable to see where the money trail went. And if any of that money potentially went to President Biden, that could potentially expose him then to a separate criminal investigation of President Biden. So this is dangerous for him.
Absolutely. And do you think, Brian, that this will quell suspicions from the Republicans? I would imagine it remains to be seen based on what happens as this investigation plays out.
Kelly, you've heard that phrase before, the proof is in the pudding, right? And that's really what we have to wait for to see here. Everybody's got their visceral reaction to this, some good, some bad, some kind of tepid. But look, at the end of the day, we're not going to know for the next 6 months or so whether this really truly is an investigation. Remember, we've got witnesses that Weiss wanted interviewed that weren't interviewed. Remember that IRS whistleblower, Kelly, that person said that there had been perjury committed, that there was a dual tier of investigating Hunter Biden. Is that going to be looked into as well? And again, let's talk about this laptop. Why is nobody talking about that? That laptop is flat out evidence, unequivocally, in any legitimate investigation. And I will tell you right now that if Weiss doesn't go out and look at what's on that laptop and consider that, and in terms of whether there should be any additional charges, then that really puts a stink on this special counsel investigation. It's going to dampen this investigation and just make it look like this is just a PR stunt to kind of quell all of the negative PR about this bogus Hunter Biden plea deal.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for your analysis. We hope you stand by. We are heading right now.